Howdy, y'all, and welcome back to the Sam Show. This is really exciting. Y'all, we're here. We're back on the Sam Show. It has been quite a few months since I've sat down and rambled my little heart out. And there's been reasons for my absence, as I have just been busy with 1,000 other projects and just hadn't quite found that one thing that had clicked for me to continue to want to sit down and yap. But in those moments, in those months of getting my life together, working on the house, taking trips, enjoying my relationship, and really diving deeper within myself and figuring out what it is that I want to deliver and people to know me for, I think that is one of the hardest transitions I've gone through in my life, because I was a Western fashion influencer for 5 years and heavy for 5 years. One of the OG top leading Western fashion influencers, and something that was my life. That was my identity. I was the same person offline, but that was everything I poured my life into. And so when I moved away from that and then went through the struggle of getting out of a really bad relationship, trying to love and find myself again and what that meant to me, then traveling and making up for lost time, still not really knowing who I am, not knowing my path, making this switch and transition of starting a brand new account from scratch, because I felt this calling for more, that I no longer was going to let anything define me in that matter, and knew that there was more for me out there. Let's just say, like, simply put it, I knew there was more for me out there, and I felt this call to make the change and the jump. And so I started over and I made a brand new Instagram account from scratch, which is crazy because my old account had like 90,000 followers. And y'all, I moved out. I moved out, I abandoned it, and I quit posting, and I just made a brand new account. Simple as that. And that was really weird for me. That was really weird. I did not have a certain niche that I was posting in, didn't have anything I was promoting, wasn't really creating a personal brand. And so I was sharing content around my life, just my general day-to-day, what I'm up to life. And that was really strange for me, because I had, nothing to associate my identity with other than, hey, this is me in my most vulnerable, broken state, trying to find the silver lining, trying to put a smile on my face, trying to make the most out of life, trying to heal my heart and make up for lost time. And here it is. And still to this day, that's the biggest blessing I ever did, was start over. I will never regret starting over. Although I look back now, because I'm reusing my old account for real estate, and it's lost at least 20,000 followers. Now that I'm posting, it's losing followers, and the engagement is really poor. But that's okay. We all start from somewhere, and it'll start again on its own timeline. But genuinely starting over, not only in the social aspect of career, but where I lived, who I talked to, my new family dynamic, as I lost my father to cancer a little over a year ago. And grief is the craziest concept, and it's a blessing in disguise having ADHD and going through grief, because my brain is just this neurological disorder that keeps me all over the place and cannot hone in and focus on one feeling at once. Saves me a little bit, but it also prolongs my healing. But it allows me to continue to move forward and be a little distracted and show up the best that I can and do the most with what I have. And it's just really cool to me to see the way that God has continued to work in my life. He has diligently, willingly, and knowingly, moved in ways that I never would have imagined. And he started to take a lot of things away from me at the end of 2023. And I was saved by a really disgusting, horrible relationship through tragedy in a way that I never thought I would be saved. It was very sad. It was really sad. It is sad. And it put me in a really weird position, a position I didn't want to be in. had no idea I was going to be in. But I had to bear that armor, and I bared it with grace. I've bared everything I've ever done in my entire life with grace, because if there's one thing my daddy taught me growing up is he could not stand a liar. And so for me, lying was never an option. I always told the truth. So because I always told the truth, I always owned my shit. If I made poor decisions, if I dated a poor boy, if I didn't do something that was a great reflection of my character, I'm the first one to admit and say sorry. It's just something that is a moral of mine and natural to me to say sorry when I mess up, because I recognize through my daddy's flaws, my mom's, my family's, my sisters, my friends, that none of us are perfect, through my own flaws, that none of us are perfect. But am I going to react poorly on a poor decision and just make it worse and deny? Or am I going to own my shit? Like, hey, you're right. I was in the wrong. And am I going to learn from it? And I'm going to make amends? And am I going to move on? And what am I going to do with it? Am I going to let it define me? I'm going to sit there and waller and whine and pout? Or am I going to grow the fuck up? And am I going to do something about it? And so I started to do stuff about it. I got tired of constantly in a relationship where I debated, I stood my ground, and it was just a weird one. Like, I never folded. I never did not stand up for myself, but I just found myself in a really poor cycle because of the amount of manipulation I received, the narcissism I received. And as a strong woman and who holds herself at a very high standard, did not make high standards for her relationship choices. And it took a beating on my heart and my soul. And it weighed on me. And it's something I'm still working through, because it's not that long ago. It's been 2 years. And like, wow, I'm like, only 2 years, but also like, it's been 2 years. Like, it feels like an eternity ago, but it also just everything feels like yesterday. I know y'all heard me mention I have ADHD. I'm a rambler. I like to ramble. My stories, I always try and bring them back and make them full circle so we're not all lost and confused together. But I really do enjoy the position of life I'm in now, thanks to God making me very uncomfortable with the environment that I was in. The environment I kept myself in never felt right. My nervous system was always flared up. I was always inflamed. I was always on edge. I was always one and quick to snap and react, and I didn't have patience for nothing, nobody, and no one. But I'm a little more peaceful nowadays. I carry myself differently. I walk differently. I talk differently. I speak differently. I used to speak really fast, and I still speak fast. I'm working on that because I want to make sure people hear me and understand me. And I don't want all my words to move through me so fast that you're like, what'd she say? But I used to do that because I was just always nervous. I was always in a nervous state, wondering, when that next backhanded comment was going to come from, and if it was something that I said or did, and it had nothing to do with me. Nothing. It was a reflection of their own inability to heal their heart and make amends with their past and own their own shit. Yeah. Just like reflecting on life 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago is crazy. If you really want it bad for yourself, if you really want it bad enough for yourself, you can achieve those things that you desire, but you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. You have to be willing to let go, and you have to be willing to surrender. And when you surrender, you are accepting the unknown. And the unknown is one of the most fearful things that we battle and deal with, and it keeps us at bay because we're unsure. We can't see it. We can't touch it. We can't feel it. We don't know it. We don't smell it. None of our 5 senses can reach the unknown. So there's no security or control in the unknown for us. It's the highest risk we ever take as people when we move and make the changes, the unknown. But your dream life is on the other side of the unknown. And I can tell you that. I'm a living reality of what only crossed my mind through a dream, through a thought, through something I had been envious of my friends for. And something, man, I wish I had that one day. Man, I wish that was me. Well, now it is me. It's me. And I'm so full of gratitude for God placing his hand in my life time and time over again. When I was in it, I didn't see it. My relationship with God was poor. It was far. It was little to none. I prayed and cried out for help every now and then, but I didn't lean on him. I tried so hard to bulldoze and fight through everything myself because that's what I was used to doing. I was used to figuring it out. I was used to moving forward, not thinking about anything else, just constantly in survival mode. And when I was in survival mode, it didn't include God because I was so worried about the worldly things I needed to do to keep myself alive and sane that I did not have enough time to believe. And looking back now, I see there's so many times that he placed his hand in my life and stuck it out to me and was like, damn girl, are you going to grab on yet? I've given you sign after sign after sign, and I'm here, but I'm not going to do it for you. And that's the biggest thing. Our life is full of choices. Every choice we make leads to another, and then that choice leads to another. And these domino effect of choices pave the pathway to our life. And so it's very important to be mindful of the choices you make. I love that. That was very, very well said. And my goodness, I definitely have just gotten so heartfelt with you guys. I'm just like, I've just gotten so heartfelt. But this is just so surreal for me. It's a reality that I'm living. And to be on the other side of this and to be sitting and speaking with you guys again is so exciting for me. Like, this is what I've dreamed of. This is what I've dreamed of. And to further identify what that dream is and explain to you what my dream is I have always seen, pictured, and visualized me on a stage with a mic in my most favorite, nice, beautiful outfit in my turquoise. And I'm up there and I'm inspiring men and women and telling them about my story. But most importantly, leading them to their power and encouraging them to fill up a room, to take up space, to never feel shameful for shining bright. Never feel shameful for putting yourself first. And most importantly, finding your strength in God. I'm not like, sure, I was strong back then, but I'm much stronger now. You can't shake me, baby. I've got God on my side and I know it and I believe it. And the way I move, walk, talk, speak, it's a lot different. I can speak a lot more intellectually about my feelings. And that's one thing I'm noticing is in regard to my dream to stand on a stage, it always seemed so unachievable, so unattainable. I did not know, how am I going to get there? What does that look like for me? That just like, it's a dream. It's something I was really, really, really unsure about of how I was going to reach that because I had such a hard time talking about my feelings. Somebody asked me about my feelings, I'd shut down. I'd never ask for help. Never ask for a helping hand. I chose to do everything by myself because if I asked for help, I felt like I was inconveniencing somebody, and I didn't want to inconvenience somebody because I didn't want to bear the weight of taking up their time and then them being upset if something went wrong and taking up more of their time. And so I just left it alone. I was like, I don't even want to mess with that. I don't even want to ask for help. I don't even want to bother. I don't even want to dump on you what my feelings are because I don't know how to talk about them. It actually makes me really uncomfortable to talk about my feelings because I'm strong and I'm tough and I don't want you to think anything other than that. And if I say something, I don't want it to be misunderstood. And I want you to get exactly what I'm saying and not think about it the 10 other ways it could be perceived. So I just don't talk. And how wrong was I about all of that? How wrong was I about all of that? One of my friends, I went and saw her in Texas a little less than a year ago. And we're doing a photo shoot, and she's been a dear friend of mine since 2019. She's seen my growth. She's seen my ups. She's seen my bad relationships. She's seen my downs. She's seen it all. She knows me from the inside out, and she knows my heart. And we were hanging out together. And she said, Sam, she was like, God put this word on my heart. He normally doesn't give me one word. He gives me a phrase or a sentence or something. But he's given me this one word for you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's hear it. I love to hear what God has to say through other people. Like, ooh, what is it? And she looks at me and she goes, vulnerable. Whoa, vulnerable. Me? Are you sure? Can you ask God again? I'm not sure he has the right person. He must be thinking you're hanging out with another Samantha. No, she said vulnerable. And I'm like, I was interested. I was like, okay, like, what does that mean for me? What does the word vulnerable mean for me? To be vulnerable. Never a word I associated with myself. And it was actually, honestly, y'all, a new word that I found out about probably a year and a half ago. I'd never heard the term vulnerable before. To be vulnerable. WTF does that mean? I'm not sure. Like, the term vulnerable was not in my vocabulary at all. And so when she said vulnerable to me, I'm like, wow, really? Vulnerable? Like, that's the word? I'm like, okay, but like, I'm interested because I have already started showing interest in my relationship with God and talking to him more and just being a lot more open to the idea and paying attention to how I felt. And I've started my healing journey and I wasn't going to shut that out. And it's been in the back of my mind for a long time, the word vulnerable. And as life has moved on, I'd still try and figure out, like, what does vulnerable mean for me? What does that look like? And it finally clicked. What vulnerable was going to mean to me and how it associated with my dream. And so in order for me to reach my dream, I'm going to have to learn how to be vulnerable. And not so much adopt the action of being vulnerable, but being comfortable in the feeling of being vulnerable and being comfortable voicing the darkest depths of my path, my valleys, my highs, and letting people see me exactly for who I am, in, out, no matter what angle you take a peek at me at, letting people see the raw, uncomfortable, human parts of me. And I'm learning this as time goes on, as one thing I really have wanted to do in my content is talk more, is do more talking head videos, because I feel God has placed my ability to beautifully put words together and to be a storyteller. And sometimes I get a little animated and excited, and I love that, but I've never known how to tell my personal story in a way that would reach, enlighten, or connect with others that was going to require me to be vulnerable. So to be vulnerable just means to start. And it means to start opening up and start letting people in and start letting people see me for me. And I made the craziest, the craziest choice I've ever made in my entire life. And I say crazy because it's something that I used to look at was stupid. I'd be like, that's so dumb. I don't know why people do that. That's just, you can't figure that shit out on your own? Come on. I done figured it all out by myself. I constantly keep myself afloat. I have worked through this trauma and been just fine. Well, I knew that I got to a point in my life where I had done all that I can do by myself, and I could no longer do this alone. And I needed a second opinion, and I needed somebody who did not know me to look and hear from the outside looking in, that is faith-based and a professional in guiding, mentoring, and helping people reach their higher selves. And that's what I want to reach, is my full self, my higher self. I want to be a better girlfriend. I want to be a great mom one day. I want to be a better daughter. I want to be a better business partner. I want to be a better friend. I want to be better for me. And I know if I want to be all those things, then it starts with myself. And I bet you guys are like, ooh, girl, what you start? But I mean, you probably could have already figured it out. But I started therapy. Whoa! Gasp. I said that. I started therapy. Samantha motherfucking Wooten started therapy. Like, it still hasn't clicked with me yet, or like totally set in the fact that like I'm in therapy and I'm talking to somebody and we're like going to try and figure this out so I'm better, but I'm excited. I'm so excited. And every day I've left therapy just being so emotional and like, wow, because we're in the depths of getting to know me right now. So in those parts, it's like, here's every horrible thing that has happened in my life and that has stuck with me. So all of it is getting brought up. But I'm being vulnerable. And it's really cool that I can now see where vulnerability is taking place in my life. Because one thing I struggle with is patience. And I've been very impatient. And I'm like, vulnerable, I need to be vulnerable now. I want to start talking to people now. I want to be on the stage now. I want to do all these things now. And I became obsessed with the fact that time is not on my side. Life is too short. I can't do everything before I die. I need to do it now. I just need to say fuck it and get to do my business, because I lost a friend. I lost 2 friends at a young age, but then I tragically lost a really good friend at an impressionable age. And then I watched my daddy wither away to cancer. The man who was always tough for the nails, had more lives than a cat, cheated death, and you could never strike down, died of fucking cancer. Excuse my potty mouth, mama. I'm so sorry, but died of cancer. And with those 2 things and realizing how much time I wasted giving my life to somebody who did not appreciate or see the value in me, I was like, I got to do it now. And so I became obsessed with doing everything now and needing and instant gratification and wanting to see results and not understanding what it meant to be patient. And because I've just felt like my clock is just waiting to go off, and it's, time's just running out, and I'm 26 going on 27, and I'm like, oh my gosh, panic. I'm almost 30, y'all. But I still have the rest of my life ahead of me. And most importantly, live every day like it's your last. I know that's the most cliche saying ever. And actually I have a better way of saying that, because to say live every day like it's your last can be interpreted to be reckless. But I heard somebody say, do you want to go to bed tonight knowing that you gave your day 100% or 50%? And every time it should be 100%. Life is going to throw curveballs at you no matter what. Are you going to stand up at the plate and swing? Or are you going to stand at the plate and watch balls pass you by? I'm going to stand up at the plate and swing. And no matter what happens that day, whatever curveball life throws at me, it's not about what happens to me. It's about how I respond to it. And I'm going to make the most out of my day and give it 100%. And that is how I achieve everything I want to in my lifetime. That is how I get the most out of my hours, and I get the most out of my day, is making sure I give it 100%. What a blessing to be able to give life 100%. What a blessing to not be crippled by neurological disease and your own thoughts, have all 4 limbs, and be able to do able-bodied human-like things. What a freaking blessing. Something that every single one of us takes for granted, even if we think we don't. What a blessing. So enough about my whatever. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that's good. Like, you just, the crispness. Wow. So I just got back from one of the most iconic, epic, so totally awesome photo shoots I've ever been a part of in my entire life. Like, entire life, y'all. I got invited to model for Harley Davidson and model for their Harley Davidson and Dickies collaboration. Tell me that's not the most iconic collaboration of all time. Of all time. I don't think it gets any better. Seriously. And to model for a company like Harley Davidson, a company that has changed my life as I got into riding motorcycles a little over 2 years ago, and has completely changed every aspect of my life. It gives me such a sense of freedom and willingness and doing whatever. And it's shown me that I can do hard things and I can also fall down and get back up. And to be modeling for them, whoa, like they offered such a phenomenal experience. The way that they catered, hosted, and just made everybody feel included, important, and the snacks were thought the heck out. I so appreciated the snacks being like healthy. Like they were your best top pick Trader Joe's snacks. How awesome is that? I love that so much. And wow. And when I got to the photo shoot and I'm looking at the collection and I'm like, yo, I'm like, whoever designed this, finger snaps, 10/10, best collaboration ever. And then I saw them unload brand new 2026 Harley Davidsons out of a box truck. Yo, for real? We get to, girl, dream come true. Legit dream come true. Although, one of the photographers broke my heart one morning. He looked at me and said, well, talking to the stylist, and I'm standing there because they called me early. And they called me in early for styling, like 6:45 a.m. I had to be there because they wanted me to stand on a motorcycle. And he's like, they asked me the night before, can you stand on a motorcycle? I'm like, yeah, like while it's moving. Like, no. While it's like standing. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I was like, if you want somebody to stand on it, you brought the wrong model from the couple to the shoot. That's all great. He does all that wild stuff. But no, they just wanted me to stand on it while I was parked. Perfect. I could do that. And so they called me in next morning super, super early, and I'm going to get dressed. And photographer Scott, he's standing there and we're talking to the assistant. He goes, Sam, I guess since you're here, I've got such bad news for you. And I'm like, well, I'm at a Harley Davidson shoot. I don't know how bad it can get. And then he goes, you have to ride passenger. I'm like, oh, Scott. You didn't have to do me like that. It's too early to break my heart. But that's fine. It was fine. I got to ride passenger with my friend Chris Cheney, and it was super cool. They had photographer, videographer hanging out of the van, doing roller shots, roller videos, and I got to be super interactive with the lens and just look like I'm having the time of my life. And honestly, like, best passenger for the pic because I know how to have a good time. And I can also associate my modeling skills in there. And like, I have such a creative brain. So I'm like, I see the shot, so I know how to produce the shot. So when I'm on the back of the bike, I'm like, dude, this shot would look sick. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, like, cool. I just like love when stuff like that works out. It's so legit. But modeling for Harley Davidson, whoa, like, that's crazy. I didn't even know I needed to put that on my bucket list, but definitely should have, because check. Super, super sweet. That was just such a moment. So, I know you guys also maybe have not know, maybe you guys don't not know, that I got my real estate license. I am now a full-time Arizona real estate agent. And we're going to break this down because it's been also a big learning curve. There's a lot of stuff in there that I'm having to unlearn, like the way I operated my content creator business does not align or serve the real estate model of business at all. Like, at all. I was a girl that only checked my email when communicating with a brand. We'd go over deliverables, payment, get my address, product, done. Then I do my deal. I finish up the album, finish up the deliverables, send them over. Perfect. That was the gist of my email communication. There was no time blocking, scheduling, deadlines, time frames. I mean, I had deadlines, but like not real estate deadlines. Like this stuff right here, it's time's ticking by the minute, y'all. And I'm just so stoked that I did choose to step into real estate because it's definitely a career that I am passionate about being the best at because I want to better serve my community. And it's a people business, and I'm a people person, and I get to talk to people. and I get to interact with people, and I get to offer them the best service and get to offer them an experience. And how exciting is that? And so that's super exciting for me, and it's really exciting to be learning something new. I'm loving that I'm getting to learn something new, but it's shown me, like, I was the expert in the Western fashion industry. I was model, photographer, hosted retreats. I had somewhat of a podcast, did an online boutique. I mean, anything I could integrate with that, I tried. I tried everything. I'm definitely one of those, one of those, yeah, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to run out of time, so I'm going to do it all. And I'm just going to spread myself so thin and just hope that, one of these takes off. Yeah, well, that never really panned out for me. Never really panned out. My Western fashion content creator career, that was the height. That was the top of the pyramid. And then I did so many things underneath. And there was just a certain few things that never really took off because I just couldn't give it love and attention the way I gave everything else love and attention. And I realize now, as a 26-year-old adult, that I would look at people and I'd hear them on a podcast, or I'd hear their resume, or I'd read a blog about them, and they're like, they did this, and they did this, and they did this. And so they did all these magnificent things. I'm like, if I want to do all those magnificent things, I have to do them now. I have to do them now. I have to do them right now. And I did not realize that these people that they were talking about had 10, 15 years on me in age, and had spent 5 to 10 years, 5 to 8 years, at least 5 years focusing on that one thing and becoming the master at it, becoming the best at it, becoming the expert at it. And then they'd move into something else and become the best at it. And they move into something else, become the best at it. But they were giving it their all and focusing on that one thing the entire time. And so that's how they became the best at it. They weren't spreading themselves thin. They were dedicated to something for a time frame. And then when they felt a shift or a calling to something, or we're not meant to stay in one place. There's always something new to move into, and God has a plan for us. He guides us. There's opportunities. There's doors that open. There's doors that close. We can't expect it that we're going to do this one thing our entire life. There's opportunity to do multiple things, but to do everything. I want to do everything. Not going to lie. Definitely want to do everything. But I also want to do one thing and be the best at it. And I was a really good content creator. And now my goal is I'm going to be the best real estate agent ever, because I'm going to pour my heart and soul into it. I'm so excited to be learning something new. And truthfully, a lot of people will tell you, oh, yeah, the test is hard. Sure, the test is hard. Of course, any test you take is hard. But if you set yourself up for success, learn the vocabulary. My biggest piece of advice, vocabulary over anything. I mean, vocabulary and day-to-day conversation. Knowing higher-end vocabulary if you want luxury listings. Knowing higher-end vocabulary if you want high-ticket sales. Knowing how to use words that will get you into the rooms that you want to be in. So you sound educated, you sound professional, and you are educated, and you are professional, and you become those things. Vocabulary is just huge. So I failed it the first time. I was like, what? I failed it? No. It's like, no way. And then I passed it the second time. So whoop, whoop. Yeah, not the end of the world. And I got my license, and I'm jumping into real estate, and I didn't have a truck. I sold my truck to my boss. And so I was riding my motorcycle. It's, hot. It's just hot because I'm in Arizona. It's just hot. And it just really sucks. I mean, I love riding my motorcycle. I'm like, wow, but I almost get sideswiped or die, and I'm melting every time I head into the office. And so it was really hard for me to create consistency, a pattern, and a schedule. And I was also transitioning from where I was a free spirit. I traveled. I did whatever I wanted. I wasn't tied down to anything. Nobody could tell me no. I literally had zero responsibilities other than what I wanted to be responsible for. But being in real estate requires me to show up consistent, especially as a new agent. It's really, really important that you're in the office, you're around mentors, you're around people who are where you want to be, you're asking questions, you're getting the information, you're going to seminars, you're doing and getting all these things. And it took me a little bit to get that smoothed out, honestly, a month and a half, as I'm trying to ride my bike, but then I don't want to ride my bike on these days, and just whatever. And then my bike broke down. Yeehaw. Literally broke down on the freeway, no vehicle, desperate, text my boss, yo, You have every right to stick with our original deal, but is there any chance I could buy my truck back? This is the situation I'm in. He said, yep. Actually, battery's been on dead on it and it hasn't moved. Come and get it. Your girl bought a flight the next day. Literally was gone. So once I had my truck, it definitely helped out a lot with transportation and being reliable and being able to show up. But then I really just had to make a decision. Like if I want this, I need to make it a non-negotiable to go to the office on these certain days and be present and do these things because I want it bad enough, but I can't say I want it bad enough and then make an excuse on not to go into the office. Like it doesn't work that way. And so one thing that a mindset transition I had, motivation. We all want motivation. We all want to be motivated to do this thing. We all want to be motivated to go to the gym, eat better, be the best at whatever it is. Well, motivation's a feeling. Motivation is temporary. Do not tie motivation to success. Do not tie motivation to task. Do not tie motivation to the steps that are going to get you where you want to go because they're a feeling. Create a schedule around non-negotiables that are going to require you to have discipline. On the days you don't feel like doing it, I don't give a shit. It's a non-negotiable on my schedule. I know I need to do it if I want to get where I want to get. I'm not banking that I'm motivated to do it because I'm probably not feeling the best today, but I'm going to show up anyways because I made sure it's a non-negotiable. Start with the little things. Do not just try and flip your life upside down and be like, I need to do all these things. These are non-negotiables. And like you wake up at 7 every day, you're starting to get up at 5 a.m. Like, ease into stuff. Allow yourself the grace to ease into stuff, and over time, like it'll get better. Say you want to wake up at 6:30. Start waking up at 6. Okay, waking up at 6 will get easier. Start waking up at 5:30. Waking up at 5:30 will be easier. And as I say this, I'm like, maybe what I should do. But no, seriously. And so just not putting my faith and structure into motivation, but putting it into non-negotiables and discipline. In just a month, I have seen an entire change in my learning behaviors, how I'm showing up, opportunities, conversations I'm having. Everything is beginning to like ebb and flow, and I'm no longer feeling stressed, put out, all over the place. Like I'm seeing myself work towards something, and so that's really cool. So yeah, this is awesome. I'm back here on the Sam Show, and I'm talking to you guys, and we're yapping, and we're chit-chatting, and this is so fun. And I just told myself I was just going to get on here today, and I was going to talk, and I was going to catch you up, and whatever was on my heart, I was going to speak about, because I wasn't too sure what I was going to talk about. And moving forward into these podcast episodes that you can expect to see from me more often, I'm like, what the hell do I want to talk about? I got so much, but what is it? What do I want to talk about? So if you have any ideas of what you would like to hear from me, any stories you would like to hear, how I grew up, what careers I've done, jobs I've had, bad relationships, my healing, my grief, or if you want anything business related, I'm happy to talk about any of it. So, and should I start a series? Is that like a thing? Should I just ramble? I don't know. And that's okay. Like I don't have to know it. I'm telling myself that's okay because like we're just all here in this together. And I'm so thankful that you guys joined me today. This was really fun. And I look forward to seeing y'all at the next episode. Okay. Bye.